Hello YouTube, I'm your Huckleberry, and this is the Zero Tolerance 0562 TS. And that TS, of course, meaning Tiger Stripe, which is for the Tiger Stripe DLC there on the blade. This is my first 0562, and it is a sprint run that was recently released by ZT. And let's get into some specs. We're looking at 8.25 inches overall with a 3.5 inch blade. It's coming in at 0.16 on the thickness, 1/6 of an inch on the thickness. It comes in 20 CV steel. It is a drop point blade shape with a flat grind and of course the Tiger Stripe finish. And this is based on the Rick Hinderer slicer grind from his XM series. This of course has black G10 on the front scale here, and it is a titanium frame lock, which has been DLC coated in black as well. All right, and let's get a weight on this guy with the AccuWeight scale here. And we're looking at 5.7 ounces. 5.7 ounces. So it is a little hefty. A 3.5 inch blade with a 5.7 ounce weight, so a little hefty there. But let's get some size comparisons now. Let's look at the Benchmade large Griptilian. And if we line that up butt to butt there, you'll see that the ZT is a little bit larger in overall length and a little bit larger in terms of blade length as well. Let's look at it against the Spyderco PM2. And again, the ZT edging it out just a little bit in terms of overall length and blade length, a little bit larger than the PM2. It is less in the thickness there though. The PM2 is going to be a little bit thicker, well, a little bit wider in terms of handle width. The ZT is going to be a little bit slimmer. All right, let's look at it against the Kershaw Leek. And it's definitely larger than the Leek there, as you can see. Leek being a smaller knife and the ZT being what probably many would consider on the larger side. And let's look at it against another Tiger Stripe blade. I like the Tiger Stripe blades if you can't tell. The Kershaw Link. And something you can notice here, or that looks, noticeable to my eye, is that the coating on the ZT does appear to be sharper than the Link there. I don't know, that may just be me, but it looks a little bit more vivid. It looks a little bit sharper than what it is on the Link. If you can maybe see there. But either way, I like the Tiger Stripe blades myself. I think it looks really good. It's really kind of unique. And I like how, just kind of getting into pros and cons now that we're done with our size comparisons, I like how it's kind of, you can see that there's like it looks like there's some overspray. It's not exact. It's kind of roughly done, it looks like. And I like that. I like that it looks roughly done there. I think that makes it interesting. It's going to help with the wear and tear of the knife. When you get some wear and tear on this coating, like all coatings when you use your knife long enough or hard enough will get some wear and tear. But when it's done in that way, I think that it'll be less noticeable. It'll just kind of blend in better with the knife. And so I like the overall aesthetic of the knife. Not just the Tiger Stripe coating, but just the way that it looks in general, because it looks, it looks a lot like an XM18 with a slicer grind. It has the 3.5-inch blade. This ZT, the 0562, which by this point in time, when I make this review, has been done in a large number of variations. There's an all titanium version. There is a carbon fiber version. There is, I believe, different colors. There's an orange, one with an orange scale. There are all kinds of different blade steels. There's an L-Max. There's an S35, I believe. This is 20 CV. So there's been it's been remade and re-released in a lot of different versions over the year because it's been a very popular knife. Because this is the ZT that was called the ZT that was, it's better than a Hinderer. The Hinderer design that was better than an actual Hinderer is what a lot of people said about it. Because in the earlier versions of the XM18, when this was released, I'm not sure what gen they were on when this was released, but it flipped better. It was a lot more cost effective than an XM8, especially back then, because an XM18 back then, when they were more limited in production, I mean, people were spending crazy money on XM18s. We're talking like $800-900 for certain variations of XM18s because they were that limited back then. Ever since they've kind of gotten into the new shop, they've gotten a lot better setup where they can produce a lot more of them. Of course, that price has been kept way down because of that, which is a good thing, I believe. And so there were a lot of people who still to this day prefer this to the earlier generations of the XM18 because they're like, well, it's a better knife. I mean, because in this version, you're getting 20 CV, or L-Max or S30 or S35. You were getting basically the same steel that the Hinderers were coming in, and it was a lot cheaper and it flipped better, had a better action than the Hinderer. So, with the Gen 6, that I have that I featured on the channel had probably a better action, just as good anyway. They're still equal. I think the Gen 6 probably had a little bit better action on the bearings than what this does. This rides on bearings as well. You can't really see in there, but it does ride on bearings and has a really good action, really, really good detent, which is kind of moving on to the next thing there. It has a really nice detent. It's about impossible to get this thing to fail. I've tried. Yeah, see, I'm doing it about as light as I can right there. Let's try again. Oh, there we go. I got it to fail. It's very hard to get it to fail, though. You have to put a serious amount of effort into it to get it to fail. It has a good detent. The 20 CV steel is great. The fit and finish on it, standard ZT, really good. Every ZT that I've ever handled has good fit and finish on it. This is no exception. The fit and finish on it, here it is in my extra large hands. This to me is about the perfect size for my hands, I think. A 3.5-inch blade. I can get a good full 4-finger grip on it with just a little bit out the back there. When I kind of spread out to get it into a saber grip, it fills my hand just about perfectly. And so this is about the perfect size for me personally and my extra large hands. The ergonomics on it, fantastic. It just really fits into your hand. And as I said, it's thinner than what I expected it would be. It's really nice, and it's just nice. It just fits nicely in the hand. It feels nice in the hand. No sharp edges, no hot spots. Ergonomics, A+. I like that it has easy lock access. The lock bar is easy to access. There's no trouble there. There's zero lock stick. And that's probably due to the fact that it has the steel lock bar insert. I don't know if you can really tell there, but it does. It has the steel lock bar insert, and it does have an over travel stop, the same kind as the Hinderers have. One thing this has that I really like, even above the Hinderers, is that this deep carry pocket clip. Because, on the Hinderers, if you'll notice, and you can notice back in my review of the Hinderer, the Gen 6 Hinderer that I had, this clip comes down because it's not a loop over deep carry clip. It does come down and it covers up the lock disc there, that over travel stop, in which that's one of the things that you can customize on it. But it's it's covered up when you have it in tip down configuration. And so I like this loop over clip that doesn't cover that up, and I wish that the Hinderers would do that as well. So all of that is good. Like I said, the action, really good. That action on bearings is good. It's very easily, you can shake it shut. I like the G10. The G10, it has a good texture, and I like kind of this contouring of the G10, which gives it a little bit of a different look. You can see here, it's not just all with this same texture. On the kind of the contoured areas, it's smooth, and it gives it a different look, kind of a, I don't know, I don't know what you would call that, but I like the look of that. I like that look a lot. It's not just like straight a slab of G10. You can tell it's been contoured, and it's a little bit, it makes it look more, makes it look higher quality to me. That may just be me, but that's what I like. I like the pivot. That's not just like a plain pivot, that you got a little bit of something going on the pivot there, to where it's not just a plain pivot. Got a little design there. I always appreciate that on a knife. It's got good jimping. The jimping there is functional. It's good. It works. It's what you want jimping to be. It's just, man, this is just a really nice knife overall. I really enjoy this knife. A couple of cons. One, it is, as you saw with the weight, a little bit on the heavy side. Nothing too serious, but it is a little hefty. A lot of ZTs, if you like ZTs, you probably like hefty knives, because most ZTs are going to be lean towards the heavier side, especially the earlier ones. They have some now that are different and not overbuilt tank like they were doing for a while. But this is kind of from the overbuilt tank era. You know, not to say that it is an overbuilt tank, because like I said, it's thinner than what I expected. It fits really good in the hand. It's not like a 300 or a 200 or anything like that. It's nice. This is just a nice knife, but it is a little bit on the heavier side. The second thing, and I am nitpicking here, let me tell you. The second thing, how many standoffs do we need here? That just seemed like a large number of standoffs. I mean, when you look at the PM2 here, you got the one standoff and the lanyard tube, and that's kind of all you need on that one. When we look at the Sebenza, again, you kind of got the one standoff there, that one blue standoff here, and the lanyard tube, and that's really all you need. And even on this steel wheel Modus, you know, it has a full backspacer, but I mean, you can see there's only 2 screws there that you need. So I don't know why we need, you know, 1, 2, 3, plus the one that kind of holds the clip. You need, it just looks like a lot of standoffs in a small amount of space. So I don't know what's up with that. That and the silver stop pins there, those are not thumb studs. They do not work as thumb studs. They're not meant to be thumb studs. They're meant to be stop pins. But they're silver. And everything else on this knife is black, or, you know, it's got the gray stripes. So I would have been fine with this if it was coated gray or black, but they just left it the natural kind of stainless steel color of silver. And it makes it stand out. It makes it not fit in with the rest. And you know how I feel. I've probably said in several videos now how I feel about uniformity of finishes. And so I really wish that would have been black, or I would have even settled for the gray color there of the flipper tab, or like is on the knife there of the stripes. I would have settled for the gray color. I would really like it to be black, but they just left it silver. And to me, I mean, that just, that drives me crazy, because it makes me feel like it's unfinished. Like, why did you get 99% of the way done and then you left this one little piece uncoated silver? Why? Especially on such a good looking knife. It drives me insane. I don't like it. I don't understand it. Just coat it. Just coat it. Unless somebody could tell me down in the comments a good reason for just leaving that. Maybe the wear of, that coming in contact with the scale and the titanium there, or I guess the stainless steel liner and the titanium. Unless there's a really good solid reason for leaving that uncoated, why didn't you just coat it? Why didn't you put the extra 2 cents worth of paint on there of DLC coating and just coat it? I don't understand it. But I mean, again, and that's a nitpick. That the standoff, everything that I said about this knife is a nitpick because I really, really, really like this knife. I like the Tiger Stripe blade. I mean, as you can tell, I have a link in the Tiger Stripe blade. I want everything in the Tiger Stripe blade. They make a 0350 in the Tiger Stripe, and I want that as well. I will be getting that eventually, sometime, because I just love the Tiger Stripe blade. And they put it on just a really fantastic knife. This knife, if you've never experienced an 0562, you owe it to yourself if you are a knife aficionado or just a knife guy like I am. You owe it to yourself to try one. Find a version that works for you, either a G10 version or, like I said, they have carbon fiber, they have titanium. Whatever version works for you and the steel that works for you, find your favorite, buy it. Try it out. Save up for it. It's worth it. This is a good knife. This is one of those knives that if this were the only knife that I had, it would do every job that I need it to do. It's not overly scary. It's not particularly sheeple friendly, I don't think, but it's not, it's not too much. It's not like the Valhalla here. I mean, that's kind of a big aggressive knife that's not going to work in most office situations. This, you could probably get away with it in an office environment, depending on your office environment, but it is kind of covert because of the Tiger Stripe blade, I think. I think it would work in most situations. If this were the only knife that I could have, I would be perfectly happy with that. It would get all the job. I would be confident in it and getting every job done that I needed to get done, and without being, overly aggressive for the people who live their lives scared in the world. I live in Texas, so I don't run into that problem too much, but you live in other parts of the country, you might. Other part of this country or in other countries, you might. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Great knife, buy it, period. You owe it to yourself to at least try it, because I think you will like it, unless you're just completely against the size and weight of it. I mean, that would be the only reason not to buy it. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I would also very much appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time that I put out a new video. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up if you loved it. Give me a thumbs down if you hated it. Comment down below. Let me hear from you. Ask me questions. Strike up a conversation. Let's chat. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.